Okay, so welcome. Today we're going to be essentially doing a login system for the password manager that we've been doing over the past couple of streams. Um, so I don't really know if this is gonna work out, in the sense of like, um, this might take 4 hours again. you know and if it doesn't take 4 hours, then good on us. We built something that didn't take 4 hours. We can do it quickly. I have another Python guide for this, so it's kind of like the password manager, but there's a so it's like I've created a login system in Python before, but I need to create it in Golang now. So that's what we're going to be doing, and we can then check off a bunch of the to-do list items in that sense. So now, speaking of the to-do list, we have a lot of checked off items from yesterday, because judging by the amount of people that are or that saw that stream, not much, not a lot, very little. Uh, we did some things at the end of last stream, which is we sort of revamped the event system, we revamped the form system, and that's probably something I also want to, if I have time, get to today. If not, that's okay. Right? Yeah, so then something I also want to get to if I have time is adding in the logging system, which is going to be fun. That's going to be very fun. So then what we're going to be doing, let's see. So how would I do it? Let's look at my sort of original one that I did here. So the system is, we just kind of have users. We have users. Users can sign up. I think we're not gonna do like reset codes, because I remember doing that and that being like a pain in the ass. Okay, how are we gonna hash the passwords? A Blake 2B, it looks like. Okay, let's see. Golang. Okay, so Golang has, I think that's, okay. UTF-8 with hex. Okay. So how so I'm summing 512, right? Or 128. Like, so if I create a new, right? Function. Specification. I don't really care about the specification. It's fine. Hash value is longer than 64 bytes. It produce hash value between 0 and 4 gigabytes. Ooh, okay. Output length on that can be used new XOF to continue. Okay. You don't have any like examples, do you? No. 2x. Alright, so let's do this. Let's see here. Okay, so I think this is a Google library, so I think this is okay to use. Right, so then new turns a new digest of a size. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so I think we're going to use a 256. Because 256 I think is just easier in terms of like memory management. Internally for Go. We're not going to manage our memory today. Maybe no, yeah, we're just gonna do 256. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay. And then we already have a struct of users, so that's good. SQL need user. That's very good, in fact. I think I can delete this. Right. Okay. So let's kind of just let's see what we have so far, just for a little refresher. So what we have so far is we can paint a window, we can add a form, we can add multiple forms, and then when we close that, the forms get automatically entered. And then also we have a database. So if we go into the database and we explore our little database here, there's nothing in it so far. That is correct. And we'll add a key. Okay, that's cool. And then close out. We have that key that we just added, hashed, of course, and then I can just delete it. That's the application so far. And when I delete it, it gets deleted from the database. So, yeah. So we have a username, we have a password. Should we do like plans? I think a plan would be good. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So now, right, when I access the password table, this is something that I want to sort of get over, is when I access the password table, are the passwords hashed? I think they are, and then you need to use the password manager to unhash them. Okay. Alright, that's fine. So then in the system, it's a database. Okay, so we just have users. It's just a database of users. Okay, cool. Get users from file, which is db to users, which is here. Okay, so you just, yeah, okay. That's fine. And I don't want to store the hash. Right? Like I want to store the hash, but I don't want to rehash the password. That's the thing. So I want to hash it when I dump everything, and then when I load the user from a file. Okay. So that's that's going to be interesting. All right, I'm just kind of reading over what we have here. So you find a user, register a user, log in a user. Okay. So I think in user, in table. So we have a table. I think, yeah, okay, so I think we could just use the table to load and dump passwords. I think that's fine, yeah. Because we just have a table. Yeah. Now, right, okay, so I thought about it, right? Speaking of tables, I thought about it, and since are we not? Oh yeah, since we're passing in the table to the password, I think, no, you know what? No. That's a dumb idea. That is a very dumb idea. So, let's see. For the user table, I think we're just gonna pass in the users. Yeah, I think we're just going to get a table of users, and that's just going to be what it is. And then in the setup, you have to sort of set up the users, right? I don't know, my brain is fucking fried from my day job today, so. Yeah. And then in get, right? Where ID is ID, and then we want to just kind of right? No. Okay, never mind then. So this was written pretty good. Where item name. Yeah, okay, so I think I can just have a table of users. But I think in where we're going to have that be a thing is in main here, because if, as you can see, when we paint the GUI, we need the user ID. So I think we need to create a whole new application to like load the users into the file, like a whole command. Which is stupid. Right? Because yeah. And I'm going to get rid of this CLI real quick. Well, no, I'm not. Key and password. So password. Oh, I see, right? Yeah. And then I still need the user ID. Oh, okay. Okay, I see. Alright, and then here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do func register application end, which is going to do this. And that needs a user ID, which is a size. And it, as well as a database. Just a table of passwords, and we also need the role. Oh yeah. So I just can't spell. And then this is a exception. Okay. And then application end, database, and the user ID is 1 for right now, but we're gonna change that. So yeah, I think I need to create a whole new like setup to this, which is fine. Right? So like if we look in the what we did last time we did sort of SQL, we did SQL, I bang on about this. We did SQL like a while back in Golang, and let's see, there you go. And I've been sort of using that as my like template almost, right? So let's see what we've done here. So I'm gonna copy this into our file here. And then we'll go to CMD. We'll make a new package, users, and users are user main.go. And this is not direct. I'm just gonna delete that. And it auto imports. Thank you, VS Code. Okay, so you connect, right? But then I want to sort of like create a user programmatically. You know what I mean? Like have some sort of CLI for it. Yeah. How would I do that? So do I want to create like what? So do I want to create a CLI? That's the thing. I don't know if I do. I think I just want to make this a GUI application. I think I want to delete the CLI for it, as convenient as the CLI might be. Yeah. So, All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to delete whatever I just did. And we're going to actually go back to that sort of thing that we did. Well, no, we're going to create a new sort of like project, and we're going to work outside of the scope of the password manager. So let's Control KF. We're going to work outside of the scope of the password manager. And let's do new file. Or actually what I can do is we'll do recents, we'll go back to parole, and we'll kind of just copy this, right? And then Control Shift new, new file. There's a text file for right now. And package main. And we're gonna save this on my desktop, coding go, and this is gonna be new folder login. No, I want to rename it to, I think I have one already where I'm just kind of fucking around with logins. I could check that. Register, sure. We'll do this and we'll say main go. Okay, and then, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go to file, open folder, register, there you go, cool. And then I just want to check out like what I was fucking around with. So it seems I do already have a login, which is fucking weird, right? Coding, go. Can I even show this, is my question? Login. Okay, so this seems to be like a server of sorts. And I think this was just a mistyping of logging. Yeah. I think this might have just been a mistyping of logging, which is fine. Okay, so we can ignore this. Alright, so login. There we go. And we have main.go. And I kill that. So then in main, we're then going to go back to the register. New. Control Shift N. What? Shift Control N? No, it's Control Shift N, right? File. There we go. Okay, I just wasn't focused on the window. We're going to do this, and of course, copy. Paste. Okay, so we have our user, so we know somewhat what to do, right? And then what I'm going to do is create a CLI, and let's do login, I guess, right? So func, or register. Register, I think, is better. And this is going to just kind of create like a form, right? So like here, Golang form, CLI form. I don't know. Oh, no. Golang, I just want to take in input, I think, is what I'm getting at here. Yeah, input. I think there's just, like, scanf. Yeah, just scan. Okay. So, I think we could just do that, yeah. And that's going to return me a user. Going to return me a user. And I think var, oh yeah, okay, so let's zoom in here. I think I was zoomed in originally, but I guess I opened a new window. Register, so that's going to be our results, which is a user pointer. And then we're going to do name. Okay, so here, Golang user input password. Can we like hide passwords? Is that a thing? Trim space. File descriptor for standard input. Okay, I just want to get something up and running so that I can like register and log in users. All right, whatever. So name is a string, var password. So I think that's going to be, I don't think we're going to hide the input. In the original implementation of the login, we do hide the input, right? But that's only because like Python has an easy way of doing that. And it doesn't look like Golang has an easy way of doing that. Okay, so it's just like read password. So is that a thing? Can I just do that? Okay. How to get password in terminal. Cool, thank you. I'm just looking for a code example, man. So I think, and then return, I'm just gonna return nil for right now. And then create database connect. We don't have connect.connect, which is fine. How do we connect in here? We do setup, right? Yeah, we just do setup. Okay. which is fine. Right, because setup, what does setup do? It just creates a new table and, okay, and creates. Okay. Oh, and we also need to check the file. So that's fine. Database.create, right? And then how do I connect to the database here? So just have a database setup.setup. It's going to return me the database, and then within the database, do I even need a connection? Table name and driver, right? Because setup, we check the file. Ah, here we go. Okay, so we do need a connection. Okay, we need an education connection. That's great. You remember the education connection commercials? They were fun. they were genuinely fun. And then a password file. Right, we need to check the file. Okay, that's fine. And then I'll just create a password. Oh yeah, create table. Okay, so I essentially just need to call setup. But I don't need like a password of passwords, you know what I mean? So we're gonna go to create table. And we're gonna add this here. That's fine, and then check file. Which is here. Make parent, and I think that's what I need to do here. Okay. And then I just need a password file. Okay, so var password file. This is a user file. This is a user file, which is a file path, and is equal to path from parts. I'm gonna say ./data users, right? Users, right? Data or database, I guess. Slash file. It's gonna be a database file. There you go. User file. And then database. It's not password, it's a user. New table. Just a user. Okay. And then database redeclared in this block. You would be correct. Okay, and then database.create. Right? Because we already have an exception? Yes. Okay. Oh, well, no, so create database. Oh, I see. Okay. So that just does our checks, so I can delete that. I see. Okay. So I can delete that, and I can do var. So that does our checks. Okay, I thought ahead when I wrote this library. Okay, good to know. And, well, no, I do need to clean up. Yeah. And then I don't want to drop the table. That's not something I want to do. Let's see. We don't want to mock the users just yet. We don't want to mock our users. I do mock them a pretty, a lot. I do mock them a lot. Okay, so then read password. I think that just works. Yeah. So we'll create our database, and then we'll get our users, which there's nothing there, and we'll say, we'll just, yeah, I think just register for right now. Term, I don't have term. Ah, okay. That's fine. Whoopsie. Go mod tidy. I should just add that into the build script. I don't know. Password is password. I'm typing password right now. You've entered password. User storage is empty. Yes, I know. Okay, so that just works. Okay, so I should probably create a function for that. Function, get password input. Sure. We're gonna change that to a like GUI form eventually, but just I want to get something up and running. So I guess prompts, which is a string. I guess the sync, right? Which is, I guess, a file descriptor. Is that an int? It is. It's an int. And that's going to return a string. Okay. Standard in. Can I get the file descriptor from that? I don't know. Or it's os.standardin dot file descriptor, which returns a uint pointer, which is not what I need. But can I do that? Just like generally speaking, os.std in file descriptor. No, okay. But yeah, all right, fine, fair enough. Syscall.standardin. So it's using syscalls. I don't like using syscalls because that mean it may not work on an operating system, and like I know my mother, who I'm mainly using this for, I'm mainly creating this for. I'm also going to use this application. This application is generally useful for me. You know, and well, genuinely as well, genuinely useful for me. But I think that like, I know she uses a Mac. So I don't know if like syscall is going to be the correct one. You know, like maybe I'll do os standard in file descriptor, and I think that might still work. That should still work. Password. I entered passwords. Okay, so that does still work. Okay, just making sure. So I think that's just a little bit more portable. The file descriptor. There's no actual reason that I'm doing that, right? Yeah, okay, so we're still live. Just making sure. I have chat and the activity pulled up on my phone, and it looks like it just kind of like froze on my phone. So I wanted to make sure that we're still up. We're still up, which is good, right? Yep. Levels are on. Good. Right. Okay. So we kind of just want to do this. Right, and we're gonna print f, and that's gonna be our prompt. And then we will declare our variables, var, which is a, no, I don't like doing that. Raw, I guess, which is a slice of bytes. Or a read error. Oh yeah, okay, so I guess this can return a string or an exception. And I mainly return an exception, and I've mentioned this before, I mainly return an exception, not necessarily because of, like, I think that my thing is better than the actual interface that Golang provides, but it's strictly for type information. Like, if I want to get the name of the exception, or if I want to check against my internal exception names, formatting as well. Like, when you return an error, it formats pretty damn well. You know, due to this representation representation property that I have defined within it, and it sort of just it formats all the representation pretty good, and I like using my own exception class. I don't know, just personal preference, personally. And that will be an error. Okay, and then raw and reader. If reader not equal nil, we're not going to exit necessarily. We're going to return an empty string, and I do have plans to do a video on like size strings and check strings in Golang, because like returning, like checking the length of a string or checking if a string is empty is shit in Golang, and I've ranted about that before, so I won't do that right now. But yeah, it's just shit. Like, you gotta return this like static string. It just doesn't look nice. I don't like it. And then go named exception. That is an IO error if I've ever seen one. And then we'll just say %s and reader error. There you go. Okay. And then we will just return, I don't print, but I return the string of the role. Oh, and then nil as well. Yeah, there you go. Almost forgot error handling. Okay, so then we will var string, or raw, I guess, password is string and is equal to must. I think this is okay to panic. Get password input prompt is password, no space, and the sync is os.standard in. And that's going to be the, whoops, sync. Yeah, okay. All right. That's fine. And then we will have our password, and then we need a name. So I think name is just getting the input, yeah. So var get password input. I guess get normal input, right? I can make a function like that, yeah. The function get input, which is going to take a prompt and is going to, it's going to be a string, the sync, which is going to be an int, I guess, or I guess a uint pointer. Or no, I'll do an integer. That's fine. Yeah, because the standard in, I believe, is a file handle. So yeah. Or you know what? Yeah, here. So we'll do, I think that is a file, OS file pointer, and then what I can do is sync.fd and turn that into an int. So then we can just do os.standardin, and that way we can use pipes if we ever want to. We can. We don't need to, but we can. Right, and then prompt and then sync. And then this is going to return a string or an exception. So I can copy this. This is fine. Okay. Yeah, missing function. Okay, that's fair. User input password. Just user input. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, they're using a scanner. I don't really care about a scanner. Buffered reader, read line. Well, that's read string. It's scan. No, I think it's just scan. Yeah, like I think it just like I'm familiar with the C way of getting user input. So that's what I think I'm going to do. Right, so fmt scan. Yeah, okay. And then var read error, just an error, as well as our var results. Let's see. I think string? Yeah, string. Yeah, that's fair. Or even, no. We can make this generic and we can say type any. And this is going to be a type. And then, whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's clear off some of this ID shit. And then the result is going to be a type. And we can scan for results. And that we can ignore how many bytes it scanned. And we can just have the read error. And that is going to be if read error does not equal nil, standard error checking. I can actually just copy this. I copy the rest of this. And that is results. I'm going to return result. Yeah. And then when we want to get a name, which is a string, get input of a string, and our prompt is going to be name. Oh, I forgot to have the prompt. There you go. And then oh, yeah, we can panic. And then that is os dot standard in file descriptor. I think that's going to be os file pointer. There you go. And I don't need the file descriptor. And then we will return a user, new user, name, and password. I think that works. Let's see here. Okay, so we'll say our user is equal to register. And of course, user isn't used yet, which is fine. Oh, yeah, I can kind of get rid of this for right now. We're just trying to register a user. Oh, yeah, fmt print line, I guess user. That's fine. Cannot use as type in value restrict. What? Ah. Fair. Fair, yeah, okay. So we'll return, I guess, nil? No, okay, so we'll return an empty type. Can I not do that? How do I return? Okay, I guess result, because result will be empty if it can't read. So we could just return result, that's fine. Oh, yeah, and then prompts. Do I not need the sync for scan? Right? Oh, I guess I don't. Okay. Get rid of that then. That's fine. And I do not need the standard input. Oh, name. Okay. I'll input my actual name and then password. Okay. Of course, there's no new line. But that's something we can fix. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so print line. Can I just print line? Does that just work then? Name, pass. Yeah, okay, so that just works. Okay. Well, there you go. That just works. Okay. So there's our CLI for our register, right? So then I guess we want to do like a menu, right? So func menu, sure. We'll say think, yeah. Yeah. No. We'll do it to standard output then. Let's see. Right here. Okay, so Golang read from file and standard in simultaneous. Read from standard in, I guess. File and standard in. Scanner. So just okay. So you want a scanner and text. Okay. So if I create like a buffio.scanner, just hypothetically. Right, so we're gonna say buffio (1F) scanner new scanner buffer, that returns bytes, sure. Bytes error scan split text string holding its bytes. Okay, so I guess I can't return a type because that would be like, yeah, because then I could like what I'm trying to do is like be able to like read integers. So if I like say like missing function body, what the fuck? Okay, where are we? Oh, yeah. You know what? You would be correct. I'm not going to argue with that. So I'm trying to like read integers. So it asks for the name, right? And I'll do 1, and that just works. Pass. 1 pass. And that just works. You know? I mean, it doesn't work necessarily because we're creating a user from strings. But like it's like genericizing, you know, creating, yeah, reading input, yeah. You know what? I think, yeah, okay. So let's say async, which is OS file. And we're not going to return a type. We're just going to return a string. Whoops. I don't know. Maybe if I like genericize this library, I could maybe do that. But yeah, no, we're gonna do buffio. Because then we can genericize getting the input. And like have this signature be like a function alias, you know, a type alias. That's why we're doing it, at least. So then, yeah, we'll do a buff.io scanner for scan text. Or I guess io.readAll, is that it? Okay, Golang read from standard in buffered. Sure. Retrieves as on new line. Okay. Interesting. A reader, it reads the string. Manually trim. Unlimited allocates dynamically. Okay. General CLI tool, parsing big log dumps, socket, multiple megabyte line. Standard scripts. Okay, yeah, so user prompt, so we're going to user scanner. Okay, all right. Because Google AI is summarizing this as like, you can just use the best for, you could just use the scanner if you want to get user input, which is fair enough. So we're going to say buff.io. So we're going to say var scanner, which is our buff.io scanner. I believe this returns a pointer. New scanner, yeah, new scanner. New reader? No, we want to do new scanner. Takes an IO reader. Ah. Ha ha ha. Can I do that? No, I can't, because, yeah. Because I need the file descriptor. That's the whole thing. Is sync. And then we'll say for scanner scan. And then how do you like just say one line, retrieves the line without? From the return string, okay. Var line, which is a string and is equal to scanner text. And then I'm just going to copy this error checking real quick, just so that I can check something out. Line, and then we'll return. Oh, but I need the line, don't I? Yeah. So then we'll do line, return line, and let's build. Ah, yes, because this isn't generic, which is fair enough. Oh, yeah, and then OS standard in. Okay. No, okay, so that's not what I want. No, so I do just want to do. Yeah. Okay, can I just scanner scan once? Is that a thing? Yeah, okay, so that's a thing. Good to know. All right, so that is a thing. Fair enough. Var okay, which is bool. If not okay, return, and then an exception. New exception test. I just want to see what happens. Okay, and then if I provide no input, nothing. Okay, so that just doesn't matter at all. Fair enough. So that just does not matter at all. Good to know. And then let's actually, like, check our errors. Var read error, scanner, and if reader is not equal nil, then we're going to return this essentially. Okay. That's fine. Cool. And if I just provide no input, that's fair. Oops. Do that. All right. So then we have our, let's make our menu. So we'll say, this is going to be like the main loop in our, so for not quit, and we'll say quit, which is a Boolean, and right now is equal to true. Or for quit, I guess. Yeah, while quit. Or I guess running. Sure. We'll say, it just makes more sense syntactically. We'll say, we'll get input. And this is why I want to sort of do, right, and then Golang string to int. String to, I guess, uint8. Alright. That looks fine. Strconf parse uint stir value 10, which is the base, and then the, I guess, size 8. Yeah, okay, so that's a safe uint conversion. That's fine. Parse uint returns a uint64 by default. Oh, okay. uint64 by default. The third argument ensures the function returns an error if the value exceeds the maximum value of a uint8. Ah, ha ha ha. Okay. But then what if I just want to get a uint64? Okay, you just pass in the base. Okay. That is actually valuable information. Okay, so then we're going to go... We'll say var input, which is a string and is equal to panic if an exception is returned. And so the prompt is choice. And that is going to be OS standard in. And then we're going to convert to, oh yeah, okay, so confunc convert choice, which is going to be I guess value. Just a string. Yeah, we'll just say value for right now. And that's going to return a uint8. And that's just going to return this here. Okay, so we'll say, whoopsie. Value. Error does not equal nil. That's fine. An error, and we'll return valid. We'll clean that up in a minute. Oh, actually, yeah, no, I need an int 8 because then that's, or no. Then I can return an exception. Yeah. Or we'll return. Yeah. This nil. Can I return nil with an integer? No, I have to return like 0 or something. Yeah. With named exception. IO error. Or no, that's an overflow error, right? Yeah, that's an overflow error. Which is %s and the error, which is fine, okay? And then this is nil. Okay. And then we'll say var choice, which is a uint8, and is equal to right, okay, so in size, right? I have size here somewhere. I've got to have size. Do I not have size? No, I don't have size. Fuck. Phooey. Oh no, okay, so I guess array size, right? We can do size as a uint64, but an enum is uint8. Aha! Okay, so I can call that an enum. Fair enough. Okay, alright. That's good. Right, and then, right, so if I say something that derives from an enum, can I do that? Is that, no, that's not, that's not possible. Okay, well, we had to try, which is must if it fails, because that's fine. We panic if we fail. Convert choice, the value is the input. Okay. And then we'll switch on, or we'll say func get choice, and that takes in a choice, which is a, how about, can we do it here? No, okay, I didn't think so. But like if I take in like an enum, right, and then I'm not gonna return anything. We're gonna do I'm just gonna return for right now, and then we call get choice on, I guess, settings.appearance, right? That's technically an enum, but it's not. Okay, all right. That's fine. So choice is a uint8. And we're going to switch on choice. And we'll say our case is 1. Right. Oh, and then we got to print the menu. So func print menu. And that'll return. Yeah, okay, so that'll return a string. Will it return a string? Nah, we're gonna print. So then fmt print line. Let's see. So this is gonna be a big one. So we're gonna essentially create like a usage. So we'll say 1 is going to be, oh, and then we'll say, right, okay, so choices choices, can I do like a, no. Okay. Can I do like a multi-line string? String literal not terminated. You'd be correct. Okay, so I guess we'll do a new line. We'll do 2 new lines. Right? Or can I do this? No, because then it complains about string literals being not terminated. Yeah, okay, we'll just hard code it for now, because I just want to get something up that works. We'll do 1. 1 would be, I guess, register. Or actually, what's the menu in the original? Let's go to the original, and we'll say UI, CLI. And the menu is register, login, upgrade, forgot password, clear, and quit. I think we're just going to do register, login, and quit. So like 1, 2, 3. Register, new line, 2. Format this a little bit nicer. Login. And then new line. 3 is quit. So it's numerical. Yeah, all right. While running is, we'll say, choice. Oh, and then quit is a password, is a pointer. Quit is a, or running. Boolean. We're making our event loop right now. Okay. And then in case. So register, that would be register. Right? What does register return? A user. Okay, fair enough. Dot user. Sorry, user. And user, I guess, needs a database. Yeah, okay, so database. This is a table of users. And which means menu needs a table. Say table of users. And I think, right, okay, so then we'll do, excuse. We'll do get choice, which takes in our database, and I don't need a pointer to that because that is a interface. Choice is choice, not channel. Choice and running. And that's where we set running to false. So actually we can do that. Case three, which is quit, is running is equal to false. Not flag, false. There you go. And then I don't think I need to break, do I? Close out of that. Close out of that. Golang switch. Sure, we'll just say switch. It's better if else, but yeah. Okay, so no, I do not need to quit. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Whereas then the case 2 is we don't have login yet. Okay. But we will. So database dot insert ID. Fuck. Shit. Right, we need a user ID. I guess size plus 1, right? Var ID is equal to, which is a go potil size, not byte size, but size, and that is equal to database size. Do I have size? I don't. That's something I need to do. Table. And that is go politils, or no, it's a collections sized. It's a sized collection, right? And then we have in password, we need to implement size essentially. Oh shit. No. I can't really get right, so here, SQL get size. Of table. SQLite. So that's what we're using. Huh. So you gotta sum it up, right? Yeah. Let's see. Turns the size of the table. Okay, I think that's fine. Okay. So let's do func storage table size, and that's going to be a politils size, and that is going to be storage.connection exec. The query is this. Fuck off with your source shit. I know where I copied it from. I don't care. I'm on stream. People understand that I copied it. And then table name is, I guess, %s. That's what I can do. Which is tsprintf equal to storage name. Oops. Come on, use the function. There we go. Where name is storage name. I think that's okay. Right, let's look up SQLite dbstat. And I just want to know what it is. The virtual table is a powerful read-only mechanism used to expect how this is allocated across the page space and provides genuine insights to the higher physical. To use this feature, data must be compiled with the SQLite enabled the compile time flag. You can quickly verify it is active on your current connection by executing the file. What? Payload incel. I don't care about the bytes. I want to know the elements. Yeah, okay, so SQLite table element count. Select count from table. That's all I wanted. I didn't need this DB stat bullshit. That's all I wanted. Right? And then exec returns an error. Okay, so var count error, which is an error, is equal to that. And I think we can count error if count error not equal nil. I'm just gonna panic with a count error. That's fine. Or no, we'll do dot named exception, an IO error, and then we'll do, just to make it nice, and count error. There you go. Okay, all right, that's cool. But then how, right, okay, so then how do I get that? Okay, so go len. Dot scan count. You are fucking joking me. Okay. Var count, which is an int. And then we'll say count error is equal to oh, yeah, okay. Exec, right? So you query the row. Okay. Query row. This connection dot prepare query. Ping. I guess ping context. Oh, ping context. Okay, query row context. So stats. Okay, so stats. Right? Stats gives me the stats. What stats can I have? Idle, in use, max idle, open connections, wait count. Idle connections. Oh, okay. So no, I don't need stats. I need connection query row, and then select all from table, and that returns a SQL row. So I'm gonna, that returns a SQL row. var row is equal to that, right? Oh, it's a pointer. Excuse me. And then we'll say the count error is equal to row scan count. Oh, okay, so I guess go polltills size. And then if count error is nil, we'll panic, and then return count. I think that works. I'm pretty sure that works. And then we'll just copy this for the user. Or even no, we'll say func storage table. And that is empty, because we still have to confer with the interface, which is a Boolean. And we'll return if storage size is equal to 0. And then we'll copy this for the user table. I think that works. So then we try and get the size. So the database.size plus 1, which is your ID and then your user. Okay. No, that's not what I wanted to do. And then we have get choice. Yeah. And then we'll do menu database. I think that should work. Choice 1. Okay, I guess not. Okay, we print menu. Oh, I think this needs to be in a different Go routine. Yeah, I think this needs to be in a different Go routine. Okay, that's fine. And we'll say running, which is a pointer to a Boolean. And we'll say for running, and that will take the address of running. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, no, so getting the input has to be in a separate Go routine. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, getting the input has to be in a... Well, no, not necessarily. Right? Oops. Right? Because we print the menu, but we don't even print the menu. Ah, aha. That's why. It's choice. Okay. So we're just... What the fuck is going on with my terminal? Okay, we'll print the menu, and then... choices. Yeah, just one new line is fine, and then quit. We have a new line. There you go. Okay, so choice 1. Oh yeah, overload. Okay, overflow error. That's fine. Error parsing string. Okay, so then that works essentially. Ends in redundant new line. Yes, it does. But we're going to print F because we're going to add 2 new lines as a separator. I think it's going to look pretty if I have the second new line in there as well. So yeah. We're just making shit look pretty right now. Yeah, okay, so that's fine for a menu. And then I'll say 1 yield pass 3 quits. Okay, so quit is fine. So now I need to make this more robust. And then if we look at our database, we don't have anything in there, which is fine. How about our users? Yeah, we have 2 users. Okay. Insert. And then okay, and then I want to say unique name because we can't have users with the same name, with the same username. Yeah, okay. Because that then should throw a exception. I'm going to delete data. We don't need that right now. I'm going to have data. Let's see, select. And then unique name. I think I can kill unique on ID. I think that's fine, right? So we have, okay, so we have name, oh, come on. We have name, table ID, username, password, and then we want to supply name or username because these are the keys that we provide. Okay, 1 give real password quit. Okay, I think we still have the Explorer up. Users 1 password. I can't spell, but that's okay. And then so we register again. Password 3 quit. Yep, and it's still there. Okay. That's fine. That works. So if we've already registered, we can't register again. So that's fine. Yep. Okay. And then I want to make converting this var, I guess, value, which, oh, no, var, yeah, okay, so value 64 is a uint 64. we have value. But then I want to say if the length of value is nothing, so if it's or value is equal to nothing, then we can return 0 and exception go utils dot exception. It's value error. Value past cannot convert an empty value. Okay, that's fine. And then so we do our empty check, right? And then parsing the string. Parse a uint, and then var parse error. If parse error, good. Delete that. Parse error to error. It's fine. Yeah, okay. It's good. And then var results. We'll just say uint8. Or actually we could just return the cast. Yeah. uint8 of value 64. Okay. That's fine. Yeah. I like that. So then let's just see if it works. Okay, so we'll register. Oh, wait, actually, hold on. I have to delete the data so that we have a clean trial. I'm typing. Okay, let's see. I guess sometimes it just doesn't work, does it? What? Okay, 1, pressing enter. Okay, there we go. Okay, 1 password, and then we'll quit. And that should work. Yep, there we go. Okay. So that works, great. Now we have logging in. Okay, so let's log in a user. Func, I guess log in, right? Yeah. Let's put that up near register. So func register. Or not register, login, sorry. And that will return me a user. And I guess we'll say var username. Yeah, we'll just have this. Okay, so I guess copying this, right? So we get. Should register add everything to the database? Yeah, I think register should add to the, well, no. Right, so I guess in terms of register, we'll get user. We'll call it get user instead of register. because then we can just literally do get user, which is user. But I don't want to create a new user. That's the thing. You know what I mean? So I think, yeah, I think that's okay, still being register. And then we'll say func login, which is going to take in a database, and that's going to be a table of users. And this is going to, I believe, return either a user or an exception. Or an exception, yes. Okay, are we returning pointers? I don't remember. We should return pointers, I think. Or no, I don't know, should we return pointers? That is a good question. So we'll say database. Yeah, so we need to get all the users. That's the thing. So we need to do get users. How would we write get? Yeah. Okay, so var we get all, so we need getters, not a getter, accessor, there we go. So a view of a pointer to a type. Okay. So a view to a pointer of a type. And then we got to search the database. Okay. All right. So var is users, which is a collections, not collection. Well, yeah, no, view of a pointer to a user, not user table, user. Come on, fucking type. Which is equal to database get all. And of course, well, no, yeah, I'll return the error so var except, which is an exception, and we'll say users and accept. So we're archiving the users, or we're not archiving, obtaining the users. English is hard sometimes. So we'll say for, right, it's var I, which is an int. For I is in the range of users. We're going to loop over the users. Collect var user is user. Oh, and then I also need a user to check against. Yeah, right? Or no? I need a username. Ah, I need a username. No, okay. I'll say a user. Yeah, so a user. And this is going to return a logged in user. Yeah. Okay, or this is a, I guess item. Yeah, we'll say item. And then user is equal to users. Or I'm going to say value. I'm going to say value, just for shits. Users collect at I. And if value name is equal to item.name, maybe I should, yeah, is equal to item.name, and value password is equal to item password. Or no, we're gonna make a guard clause. We're gonna continue. Yeah, so we're gonna invert this. Does not or does not. That's how you invert to create a guard clause. Else we're going to return value, which is our logged in and nil. But first of all, we're gonna say if accept is not equal nil, return nil and accept. Yep. because get all returns an exception, else return nil, and then we'll return right, can I return the value or nil? I think I can. I think I can return the value here. Because it's going to complain that the function body is not complete. But like I just return, I guess maybe I could just say value. Yeah. Or var results, which is a user, sure. I don't like this pattern, but it's the best thing I can do right now. Or no, right? Because if we, yeah, that's an error state. Never mind. No, this is, what am I talking about? No, this is an error state. So nil, and then we say dot named exception. Is this, I guess I'll say a runtime except. I'll take a runtime error. Or is it a value error or is it a runtime error? Let's see, value error. Yeah, I think it's a value error. I think we'll specify a value error. And we'll say cannot find, okay, yeah, cannot find user with name %s. And that'll be item name. Okay. That's fine. And then, so what I then want to do is do case 2. So this is login, right? Is where we get our user information. We'll just say user for right now. So user, and is equal to register. And var, I guess accept, which is equal to go polshkrev exception, and we'll say var results. See user. I think value is no, yeah, user. That's fine. So then we'll say. Or no, I think it's okay to panic here, because I was going to panic anyway. So, yeah, is equal to must panic for, I guess, login? Yeah, login, which takes in our database and our user. Okay, and then I guess we can print the result. I think that's fine. User is not a type. What? Oh, because, yeah, so I have to call this item. Because we're defining user. Okay. We'll print result. That's just going to be our control flow, but we'll, like, actually log in a user. Okay. So, hold on. Actually, what I gotta do is delete my data so we have a clean trial. So, we're just gonna log in with no user. Password. Yeah, so it panics. User storage is empty. Ah, user storage is empty. Fair enough. Okay, so I don't even check if the database is empty. Yeah, so I think in the choices we check if it says so far, if database, yeah, we'll say if database dot size, if it's empty, right? Or yeah, okay, so is empty. We're going to panic on a named exception of a runtime exception. Cannot log in to an empty database. Please register first. Okay. There you go. So if we try and log in, panics. Cannot log into an empty database, register first. Good. That is what we want. And then we'll register. Password. Good. And then we'll quit. Right? So then we have that. Cool. Good. So then we'll delete our data again so that we have a clean trial. And we'll register. And then log in. Like, it's kind of that simple. It worked. There's our data. And then we'll quit. There we go. We have a working login system. Now, it still needs to be added to the what was I doing? To the GUI and everything, but like, yeah, no, that's our CLI. Yeah. So I think I'm going to return a user. Right, because in get choice and then menu, I think I'm going to return a user. Right? So we'll say var user. I would say user. And then we'll say, so get choice is our user. And if, right? Because I need the user ID somehow. Right? Yeah. So I need the user ID because in our password manager, both within the objects to view, yeah, so we need the logged in user. 15 followers. Ah, okay, so we got a follower. Thank you, Gokay Burek. I think that's how you say the name. I missed the, I apologize, I missed the follow. I wasn't really paying attention. Right, okay. That name actually sounds Slavic. Might be, I don't know. Right. So now I'm trying to get the user ID. That's what I'm trying to get at. Is I'm trying to get the user ID and I don't exactly know how. Maybe can I return a user ID? Is that yeah, or seals. We can say an ID. And that'll be a pointer to a size. That'll be a pointer to a size, and then we can check if it's empty. Yeah, so instead of printing the result, we will assign the ID. Database is empty. We'll assign the ID to the database size plus 1. Right, or no? Right? Table of users. So I guess get ID? Get ID based on a name. Or like get index. Login. Yeah, because we get our... Huh. Like, how do I... Should I just store the ID in the user? I don't want to, but I think that's just the best way of doing it. You know, because we're originally just storing them by index. So if we go to user table, we're originally just inserting them by index. Right? Or should I just do like get method from, like get from type, where you just have a way of accessing that type, right? Because I need an ID. That's the thing. Right? Or I think in login, I think login can return the ID. Instead of the user, we return the ID. Yeah. Okay. I think instead of the user itself, we return the ID. Yeah. I think that's how we're gonna do it. Tills dot size. Okay, so that's gonna be 0, and then in value we're gonna say I, and then instead of this being, this is gonna be a UN, this is gonna be a size, and we'll enumerate. And we might actually get a performance boost out of this, because it's a lazily loaded iterator. So we might actually get a performance boost out of this. Okay. Right, or it's I plus 1 because that's 0 indexed. Yeah, it's I plus 1. Okay. Yeah, and then instead of the... this isn't going to return a user. This is just going to set an ID. So log in, and then we're going to say results is a size. Oh, just knocked my mouse over. Not like on top of itself, just like pushed it to the side accidentally. And we'll say what is pointed to by ID is equal to the result. And instead of getting the user, we'll say the ID is the size. And then we'll pass in ID. And then this will... No, not here. We just want to get choice, and then, right, get choice in menu, get choice. That takes an ID. Right? Yeah, okay, and then we'll say, no, yeah, I was right, and then we'll say this is, so the address of ID, and then I can fmt print line, I guess database dot, so if the, I guess no, that can fail, right? Yeah, so we'll say Go polutils must. I think I can panic. That's okay, because then... Oh, for debugging. For right now. Which is database.get. And the ID is the ID that we just got. Okay. I think that works. That's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna log in. And it works. Yes! Okay. Quit. No SQL rows in set. What? Alright, 194 in menu. Okay, 180. Ah. Wait, so no SQL rows in set. Okay, but that's in login. So I don't need to pass it into get choice. I can just, yeah, I can do it here. Yeah, but I can. Okay. That's fine. So I don't need that, and then we do this. And we'll say the result. So then, oh, actually let's, sure, I don't care. Data. Delete the data. So, okay, so we're gonna register. Password. Okay, alright, so I'm gonna assume that works. Password. It works, right? And then if I try and log in with, say, a different password, like 12345, cannot find user. Or I guess login failed. That's fine. I guess that's more descriptive. But then if we do a different name, like, I don't know, test, but the same password, cannot find user with test. That is good. Awesome. Okay. So we have sort of a running login system. You know? It's bare bones, and I still need to put it into the GUI. But, yeah. Okay, so actually let's sort of kind of scaffold this. And I've already been going for an hour. Almost 2 hours now. So I think I'm just gonna leave it like this. And Monday, because I don't stream on the weekends, Monday we are going to, you know, I like to keep time for my family. Monday we are going to, I guess, add this to the entire application. This was just to, you know, kind of get a scaffolding going. And just to get something that worked, you know? So I can kind of kill this. Well, no. Yeah, that's fine. Let's see. What do I want to do? What was I doing? What did I just start fucking doing? Oh, yeah, okay. All right, so this is... We want to add this to... No, yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah. We do want to sort of make these... So sized is actually going to help me. Yeah. So I think table size is actually going to help me. I have never said that to a woman. That's such a dumb fucking joke. That is such a dumb joke. Because it's saying that, like, I don't need any more size. That's such a stupid joke. I'm sorry. user, we'll do that. And then now in table here, not in the setter, but in the table, we inject a size. So this is just adding what we just did to the actual application. Oh, it's collection size. It's collections sized. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So that's good. I think, right, so I think over the weekend, I think I'm gonna add this to the to my Polytils, my Go Polytils this here. I think that will be added over the weekend. So if you want, you can check the GitHub, which is always in the channel links, both on Twitch and on YouTube. You can always check out my socials. I should probably add like a link tree. Yeah, just to keep everything like centralized. It's whatever. Right, and then we'll add, I guess, login. And then we can just copy what we did here. And move it over here. So then release name login. Oh yeah, okay. So go mod tidy. And we're gonna register. Real password. Okay. And I think I want to panic if the user is already registered, but I don't necessarily know how to do that. Yeah, like in terms of like logic, I don't necessarily know how to logically do that. All right, let's log in. Real password. Okay, so that works, and then we'll quit. Whoops. We'll quit. Awesome, cool. So that works. And then we'll I think next stream clean it up, and then do like some logging as well. Driver redeclared in this block. You would be correct. I don't think I need any variables. I need the table name. That's something I need. Okay, and then in main, we don't have the table name, but we have the driver. Yeah. Okay. And then, so I guess let's just kind of see how I would add it for the next stream. Yeah, which is going to be Monday. Monday is, how would I add it? So here I need the user ID. So I think I'm just going to like, yeah, have an at, right? Because can I, so if I just make these, if I just say mock users, if I make that public, and can I just do like this, like mock users? I can. Okay, that works. So then if I create like public login files or login functions, like that, is that just gonna work? You know, but how would I add it to like a GUI? You know what I mean? Like I would have to create like custom forms and like custom. Yeah, that's a stream that's gonna take a while. Yeah. And then right, so I want to kind of normalize these. So what I'm gonna do is say func, because like I think like any sort of GUI stream that I do, I'm not an artist. I'm really not. I suck at art. And like UI development and like making shit look good. I'm great at like coding and shit and like making things look clean, you know, as well as like understanding like how like functions and Right? Because a lot of the bugs in my program happen because of like quirks in a language, or yeah, okay, so I'm blaming the language. I'm blaming the language for my mistakes. But the point is, like, my skill is in reasoning about a program logically and creating patterns. Not necessarily creating patterns, but using patterns, using sort of like methods of making it like so it's not a complete and jarbled mess. That's where my expertise comes in. As well as, you know, given my background, like I'm pretty good at like encryption. You know, I'm pretty good at encryption, cracking encryption. I'm pretty good at, but that's more or less irrelevant. But it's like, yeah, you know, like a lot of my bugs are not like logic bugs. They're more like I have like one logic bug, maybe a stream, maybe one every 2 streams, 3 streams, etc. But yeah, no, it's. I think that's what I'm kind of getting at. So normalize input, which is going to take a value string, and it's going to return a string. And we're going to say return strings trim, right? Because I think that's how you trim this. Trims a slice all leading and trailing Unicode. Can I just trim a space? Here, Golang trim string space. Like, is there like a default way of doing that? Oh, just God, I'm stupid. Actually, we can exit this for right now. And this as well. So trim space returns a slice of the strings with all leading and trailing white space removed as defined by Unicode. Okay. And then we'll say string dot to lower value. I always believe in to lower instead of to upper when normalizing. It just looks better, personally, in my opinion. You know, when I'm printing out for debugging, like, I like looking at lower strings instead of, like, upper strings that are, like, screaming at you. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I feel like that looks like, right? So then we will normalize input, value name, and normalize input item name, just so that we get all like trailing white space. Value name or value password, and then normalize input value or item password, yeah. And then right, okay, so should I get into the encryption? Yeah, I think encryption is going to happen when we load from a database. Yeah. I think you know what? I think instead of like formalizing this, I think we're going to do the main topic. So let's put that in the to do. Create a way of logging out and logging in. That's not in the GUI, but that should be in general. Yeah, I'm going to put that in general. Add logging, center and register forms, environment system. I think environment system is going to be, or logging is going to be before environment system. Okay, so we can knock off create a way of logging in and logging out. We can create a way of adding users. That's fine. Yeah, okay, so I think that's okay. But then what we're going to do next is create like hashing. So I'm going to do, this is the most important one, so we'll put it up here. We'll do login, right? Or auth. Yeah, I'll say authentication. That's probably what I should have titled the stream, like authentication system instead of login system. Like, if you look at what I have the stream titled as, login system, like, I think that should be more like authentication system. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's fine. So then we'll say, add a way of, no, how would I do this? Create user and login for, and then so we'll do encrypt. Yeah, encrypt. User passwords in database on load, or on dump, or on insert. Yeah, on insert. Decrypt user passwords on load. Yeah, on load. Okay. I think that's fine. That's good. Yeah. Alright, so that'll be in the next stream. So that we already have the to-do set. So I can... Alright, is it control? It's control. So let's close all the windows. Let's just make sure everything's alright. Okay. And we'll open the to-do for the next stream. Alright, so I think that's going to do it for today. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Check out the VOD. We're going to, so we don't post on the weekends. We just uploaded a new video today. So that's going to be, today's Friday. I'm recording this on a Friday. So this VOD right now is probably going to be uploaded Monday. And then, so like I'm a day behind in backlog, on purpose. And then, right, so for Monday's stream, most likely will be in the afternoon, and it will be, for me, afternoon Eastern time. We'll set, and it will most likely be doing the authentication. But if you want to check out the VOD for this, it'll be up Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And yeah, I don't know. Thanks everyone for watching. Check out the socials. Yeah. Stay safe. Peace.